There are 3 key things you need to know if you want to work as a freelancer. I mean, freelancing is the easiest way to start your own online business, but if you don't have these basics, you're not going to get very far. You need to know what you're going to offer, where to get clients, and what are your fees. And that is exactly what we're going to talk about in this video. Starting with, well, what can you sell? You have 2 choices. You can focus on what you already know, or you can learn something from scratch, a skill on demand. And I mean, to be honest, option number 1 is way easier, because I assure you, you already have a skill that you know and that you can sell. And you may think, well, yeah, I know graphic design, illustration, web development, copywriting, edition, whatever, but so do these all other freelancers all around the world. Which is true, I'm not going to lie, but the wonderful thing about working by yourself or being self-employed is that you can offer something that nobody else can, which is you. If you want to compete and you want to stand out, the only thing you need to do is just be better than your competitors, better at something that your clients care about. It might be that you have an amazing quality, it might be that you are very quick, or perhaps that you are great with people and offer an amazing customer service. Now, to find out exactly what you can bring to the table, I have this tiny little exercise. I love making lists, and I hope you do too, because in these videos I will be making lots and lots of lists. So have a pen and paper in hand, and you're going to write 2 lists. On the first column, or the first list, I want you to write all the things that you already know. I mean, these are tangible skills. It might be graphic design, illustration, whatever, something that you learned in college, something that you learned in an online course, or whatever you think you can offer that is tangible for your clients. And in the second list, you are going to write intangible skills. These are things that come naturally to you. Things that make you unique. And if you're not really sure what to write on this list, you're going to ask for help. Ask your family, your friends, your dog to describe you, to give you at least 3 characteristics that makes you you. They might be seeing things that you are really not conscious about. They might say that you are a very tidy person. They might say that you are easy to talk to. They might say that you have an amazing creative eye. And once you have these tangible and intangible skills, you're going to mix them together and create a service, a solution that you are going to offer to whom? To clients, obviously. Finding clients is something that starts but never ends when you're a freelancer, okay? Now this is your job, this is your life now. But finding that very first one can be a little bit intimidating. You need to overcome the idea that your skills are worth money and you need to find somebody to pay for them. So I'm going to give you 3 different ways you can find clients. This works even if you're starting or if you're already, you have already some years behind you as a freelancer. They are not mutually exclusive, and it's not exactly that one is better than the other. I've tried all of them, so I'm just going to tell them to you so you can try them and see if they work for your case in particular. The first one, the easiest one, is people that you already know. Your friends, your family, the baker next door. Just go and ask them if they need your services or if they might know somebody who needs what you're selling. The people that already know you, well, they know you. You already have a relationship, so you don't really need to work on establishing that link from scratch. Because if you don't know anybody, well, you have the second option, which is cold clients, or cold leads, actually contacting cold leads. In this case, you are going to research or to investigate different persons or companies that you think might find your services useful. And you're going to write an amazing sales email and you're going to send it to them. Cold calling or cold mailing or everything that deals with cold leads comes down to a numbers game. Usually, there are exceptions to this, but the more emails that you send, the more cold leads that you contact, the better chances you're going to have to get hired. So keep that in mind when trying these options. 10 emails is not enough, okay? Not at all, unless you're very, very good. or unless there is established relationship, which would mean that that's the first choice, not the second, but anyway. And the third one, which is my favorite and how I started freelancing so many years ago, is using freelancing platforms like Upwork, Workana, Freelancer, Fiverr. I mean, not all of these platforms are good and they do have their issues, but if you are just starting, that is a guaranteed place where you will find tons of clients who are actively looking to hire freelancers. So keep that in mind. I mean, you are also going to be competing with a lot of other freelancers, so be sure that your sales skills are top-notch, but they are a very easy way to start getting those first clients and eventually learn how to get them outside of the platforms as well. And this leaves us with the third and final question. How much to charge for your services? Because you're not doing this whole thing to work for free, right? To be honest, I think that people spend way too much time trying to figure out how much to charge at the beginning. It's not that it's not important to know your fees, but pricing and learning how to price is a skill. It's a skill that you are going to learn through time, with experience. So my advice is that you just choose one number and go with it. It's going to be a low number because you're going to think, well, 1,000. No, it's too much. Let's say 500. No, who's going to pay 500? Let's say 10. And the truth is that you will find people who will pay 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. But it's going to take time and it's going to take a skill. So, when you are just starting, choose a number and go with it. But on the practical side of things, there are different ways you can price your services. You can work per project, per hour, per value, and different combinations. However, because you are just starting, my advice is that you work per hour, because it'll give you 3 very important advantages at this stage of your career. Beginning with learning how long it really takes to do whatever it is that you're doing. We tend to underestimate how long things take us, but since you're going to be measuring the hours, you will have a very clear idea of how much you are working. The second one is flexibility. Let's say that a client hires you to create a simple corporate website, but a week after that, he asks to add a blog. And what about if you also add an e-commerce to the site? Instead of having to renegotiate the whole thing from scratch, you just add those extra hours to the final price. And the third one, which is actually very related to the first advantage that I said, but working per hour will allow you to organize your day. Because if you're not working, you are not earning money. It's a very important lesson to learn how to organize yourself. And working per hour is a great way to, make you do that. The bad thing about working per hour is that you need to make sure that the client pays. In an ideal world, clients will be wonderful and they will always pay on time, but sadly that's not the case. So how can you make sure of this when working per hour? You can negotiate for, a set amount of hours depending on the project and have the client pay at least 50% beforehand. It is your responsibility as a freelancer to make sure that the money gets into your bank account. If you would like me to make a video about different ways to charge money and, talk about per project and per value and whatever, just leave me an emoji down below.